It's on DoorDash here.
Smash that like button if you look under me right.
So everybody go around, say your name, your favorite donut, and your grade.
And the worst thing you've ever done.
Everybody say your name, what year you are, and your favorite Beatles song.
And the worst thing that's ever happened to you that you would never tell anyone.
Everybody go around the circle and say the thing that keeps you up at night, the thing that you regret the most in your life.
Yeah, what's the thing that makes you saddest that would be the most likely to derail the whole podcast?
Anybody want to start?
Jews.
That's interesting. You should bring that up.
That's a really great segue into what we were thinking about talking about.
I'm good at segues.
Someone's got to MC this thing. Can I just say the elephant in the room? Someone's going to have to be the point man.
Okay. I'll do it.
I mean, I'll do it.
You wanted to do it. You should have stepped up. I got it first.
All right.
Sorry. So last time you saw us, last time we recorded, rather, we talked about a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Talked about Dave Rubin. We talked about Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin and diapers and
Ben Shapiro and 100 Boy Choir.
Yeah, 100 Boy Choir. And but really what it all came down to was the fact, we didn't even really define it, but we just highlighted the fact that whenever people talk about Jews and Jewishness, and they say Jew this, Jew that, we're all saying the same words, but does anybody even know what we're talking about? So if a Jewish person says I'm Jewish, what do they mean by that? Because Ben Shapiro saying he's Jewish certainly means something a little bit different, or could mean something different from,
I don't know, like Obama or something.
or Seth Rogen.
Did Obama say he's
Joe
Jewish?
Rogan.
Joe
No.
Rogan and Seth Rogan,
Yeah.
or Sarah Silverman. Like,
But
I
it's
guess
kinda
you could.
obvious.
I guess sometimes they'll say practicing Jew,
Uh-huh.
but that implies that they're talking specifically about the religious aspect. But there is or is not some sort of ethnic, racial aspect.
Well, this is something I was thinking about bringing up yesterday. That when I first encountering Orthodox Christianity, I realized that there's this phenomenon with being a Jew that I'm not speaking from experience. That it's like, is it a race? Is it a religion? Is it an ethnicity? Is it a nationality? Is it all of the above? It's kind of, it's sort of,
Just a club.
membership fees, but the sort of generic kind of Western Protestant view of Christianity, and maybe this is a kind of a Catholic thing too, just by cultural immersion, is that there's this category of religion, which is just like a category of the mind, and you either subscribe to it or you don't subscribe to it.
Yeah.
Whereas in Orthodoxy, it's not just a category of the mind. It's a practice. It's an entire ethos. It's an embodied worldview, a phronema.
And it's more than that, right? Like, and it has rights associated with it. Like, you cannot be Orthodox having not been baptized. You cannot be Orthodox having not been chrismated. So it's not reduced to a set of intellectual propositions or
right.
You
that
can't
you
just
attend on such a
So
basis.
it has specific behavioral implications, which means if you think about a population of people who all live in the same region, who all practice the same behaviors, after enough successive generations, those people are going to begin to isolate themselves around specific epigenetic qualities. So what begins as what a Western person might think of as like a religion. We have this category of religion that we think of, which is this thing that's generally constrained to the mind.
Like I could go out
actually
and become a Hindu. I could go out and become a Buddhist.
you could do that in one day.
Right.
I learn enough and I say the words, I am this. And
yeah,
that makes
I
you
can
that.
think the different thoughts.
Which is interesting
Some
because...
Buddhists would say that everybody's Buddhist.
Yeah.
Because it just means, like, don't hurt anybody and
That
stay with
sounds
something.
that sounds like you're punking me. That sounds gay. That
No.
sounds made up.
I've talked to a Buddhist,
I mean,
and he
is it
said, you're a
kinda-
Buddhist even if you don't know it.
Is it kind of like saying all history is Christian history?
I
Sort of.
suppose maybe.
He said it because Buddhism, he says, like, 4 propositions, and if you agree with them,
But that's a very
All right.
so. What Matt was saying is not exclusively, but is that kind of a Western thing? Is that we're all into ideas, and ideas is what matters. And if you accept this thing in your head and with your heart or whatever, then you are this thing, and that identifies you. Which is interesting, thinking of like transvestites, and you know
What
the
a great
transvestite community.
We got to bring that fully back.
All of the transvestites out there believe that they can just say they are the thing. If I just say I am a whatever, then I am the thing.
Yeah.
And so that's how Protestant Christians think about Christianity. If I just say Jesus is my Savior, then He is. So go further into that. Like if you have a even if they're from all different parts of the world, and if they stay in the same spot, practice the same behaviors, and live on the same ground, and eat food from the same soil, for enough generations, they've become a cohesive ethnicity almost.
Mm-hmm.
So that you've talked about this before, that kind of blew my mind the first time I ever thought about it, is that there is a there's a genetic component to Christianity to some extent.
I would say, yeah,
enough,
like properly embodied Christianity would inevitably have, and not even necessarily, you could abstract yourself into the secular perspective, and you could just look at this and you could say, well, if you're around these people who participate in the exact same rituals and eat the same foods and don't eat the same foods at the same time, and your entire lifestyle revolves around these specific
a Russian
embodied
village
behaviors
or something like that.
Yeah, just like I'm largely Scandinavian or otherwise Northern European, so I would have probably like a genetic inclination toward more aptly digesting particular types of foods, and I might have a harder time digesting other types of foods just because of my genetic lineage. So I think I was thinking about this, that there's the way we view Judaism as being, it's kind of like, is it a race? Is it a religion? Is it a culture? Is it it actually, in a certain sense, it's a bastardized version of Christianity, because Christianity actually is, in a sense, is kind of like I don't know if it would be more proper to say race or ethnicity, but because they do have, Christianity historically has maintained a lot of the cultural traditions and everything of its given regions, but like Christianity historically was not something that you just were sort of like a generic member of your local community and then you just bolted on these mental propositions that you assented to. It was, like your citizenship might be contingent upon your participation in Christian rituals.
I feel it. Can I just pause and say, I feel like we went from neutral to fifth gear, and we are talking about a lot of stuff that holds together because the five of us have a certain basis. Like we're like skipping a bunch of chapters to get there. I don't know what our audience is comprised of for this particular dive into these things, but maybe we bring it to the tactile, to the practical a little bit. But first, I got to say, first of all, to what you said, we have to say the elephant in the room, like axiomatic Christian thing, is that you're a Christian irrespective of your race, because it's transracial. There's neither Greek nor Jew nor barbarian, Scythian, whatever, right? That's got to be a thing that we address. So it can't be part and parcel with your genetic heritage or whatever in particular. Now, being a Greek Jew might be like, yeah, there's a lot of what you're saying, where it's way more than you can account for by your sense data or by your like personal individualistic memory. There's more to it than that at play.
You mean a Greek Christian?
Like you might say,
what did I say?
If you
You
were
said a Greek Jew.
I said a Greek. I meant a Greek Christian.
Freudian slip.
Whatever, Freudian slip. But that's a question I want to get into, and then the other thing is,
what would it mean to become a Christian nation? Like if your nation is baptized into Christianity,
you'd have to be
the people of that nation would be, on a genetic level, they would be becoming increasingly Christian.
Right, but we don't. For us, it's hard to talk about because we can't define our nation by historical terms in the first place.
Right.
If we don't have a common religion or language
Right.
or race or any of those other hard to quantify things, then we don't really have a
But
nation.
I guess I would say properly embodied Christianity would be expressed
But by way
if
of
a particular generation decided to all convert to Christianity and begin to embody the rituals of Christianity
Sure.
and pass those on generationally, then if you took a sample from this from before that, and then same people in the same lineage after that, you would probably be able to identify parallel epigenetic changes that happened down those successive generations that would be like congealing around toward a certain point.
I think that's interesting, and I think we should get into it. And I know Colin's going to be the MC because he called dibs. I just want to throw out my thing before the joke gets too stale. I was considering earlier when you said maybe being a Jew is a club and you pay membership fees. And I was thinking, what if it's that you go to apply to be a Jew, and then they're like, okay, there's a standard $75 fee. And then you're like, I'm not paying that. And they're like, you passed the test. That'd be good, right? So obviously I wanted to say that now instead of later when you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Anyway.
But yeah, we were talking about...
Yeah.
We basically just posed the question and then told jokes for 45 minutes. But the crux of the issue that is the present day conversation, like right now in the limelight, with the whole JQ and the Zionist question and all this kind of stuff, is like most people are talking past each other, or they're assuming that they all mean the same thing, and they really are not. And there's a lot of word concept fallacies, and there's a lot of assumptions going on. And so part of the issue that it boils down to is that it's snake-like and hard to define. And some might say that's on purpose. And so somebody said something about Ben Shapiro just recently.
Yeah, I saw a video of Ben Shapiro. He was on like this kind of panel thing, and this college student asked him if he was white, and he said it depended on the context.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So he said, apparently they were like, well, Ben, don't you think you have white privilege? And he's like, well, I'm not white. And he's like, wait a second, wait, you're not white? And he's like, well, I'm Jewish, but I guess it depends on the context.
Ah.
So
how convenient.
Getting caught, you know, saying the quiet part out loud, or getting caught red-handed being like that, it's obviously a stereotype for the people who know that go down this rabbit hole or whatever. That's the thing, like, is like they can be their shapeshifters or freaking, you know, you can go.
Look, the Jew.
You can also go far down, you know. It may or may not be, like, some people probably go as far as to say, like, reptilian, and they get all these things conflated and all. I don't think it's really like that, but who's to say?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like...
But that's the thing, is they kind of say that they are or are not.
I'm not like 100% that they're like lizard people. It's like 70%, probably. Like, they probably... You know what I mean?
No, but the fact that they will be whatever they want to be when it's convenient is that, and if you see it happen regularly and it's visible over the course of time and history, and lots of instances of that happening, a lot of times to kind of obfuscate and be like, play the victim sometimes, but also like make somebody else the victim or the bad guy, or just lots of weird snaky
in the present age, there are probably plenty of Jews who, I mean, and again, when you're talking about Jews, it's like, well, are you a Jew ethnically? Are you a Jew religiously?
Well, some people will just say it because they've been told that they are.
Right, like I was raised a Jew, but their relationship to Judaism is kind of similar to the way that a lot of, like, people's relationship is to Christianity. It's like, yeah, that's the way my parents, like, took me to the synagogue and, like, had these things, and I got circumcised and whatever, but they have a similar relationship to their Jewishness as a lot of generic, like, American Christians have toward Christianity, which is like, oh, it's this, like, religious thing, and, you know, this tradition, and it really mattered to a lot of my family, but, you know, they're not. Now, the thing is, because of the proliferation of the Holocaust narrative, that's such a powerful weapon that they can pick up at any point if they choose to, that nobody else can pick up. So there's always this, like, there's this tug for them that anytime something starts happening to them, they've been conditioned.
It's like the Ring.
Even if they're just innocent, you know, they're you wouldn't know they were Jewish unless they told you they were. But there's always going to be that conditioned impulse that if something happens to me, wait a second, maybe it is because I'm Jewish. Maybe my parents were right. Maybe that is. And Christians don't necessarily haven't had the opportunity to develop a similar sort of instinct or muscle memory kind of in that way because there isn't a Christian equivalent of the Holocaust narrative.
I mean, there is. Oh, the narrative.
I'm saying the way it exists in present culture. What are you looking for, Justin?
I had that notebook out here. I had some notes. I really, not to cut off wherever Colin was going to go with it, but I just want to say that where I hope this goes, because this is such a fantastic opportunity. We didn't exactly do introductions, and maybe we don't have to. Maybe we'll just be 5 anonymous chuds. But I happen to know that there's a good, what we were talking about earlier, there's this beautiful actual diversity, actual nuanced distinctions between camps in the generalized right of center. And it's represented here in present company, but I think there's a really good opportunity here because one question is, what is a Jew? Matt Walsh's new documentary coming out this winter called What is a Jew? He's going to do it, by the way. At Matt Walsh, show him this so that he can promote his book.
We're going to cyberbully him into doing it.
Right. By the way, this broadcast brought to you by EWBSX, the cyberbully. If you don't know him, he just sent us $1,420 to do this podcast. So thank you to the cyberbully floating around outside the ice wall.
I got 7,000.
We're waiting for I was going to say we're waiting for the extra 68, but he told us we'd get it as soon as we finished.
He told us that we would be getting eventually like all in all lump sum, well not lump sum I guess by definition, but altogether about 6 million or so. But then when we did the math, turns out it's closer to like 140,000, maybe 275,000 tops. Disappointing, but it's okay to know where we stand with the guy. So that's the cyberbully, EWBSX.com. Just had to say so. Thanks. Got to hit the brown. So my point that I'm taking a long ways to get around to is some of us here. This is like what was that show from the '90s about all the homosexuals, the Queer Eye show. One of us here is a secret
gay.
A secret gay.
A secret Jew.
One of us here is secretly gay for the Jews. Spoiler alert, it's Matt. The rest.
One of us is secretly Jewish for the gays.
Right. One of us is secretly Jewish for the gays.
Now replace gays with get money.
Right. One of us is, and then a different of us, secretly, anonymously, is very plan, trust, or MAGA, whereas another of us secretly is a lot more fell for it again award, all over, plastered all over his body. Total doom pilling, black pilling.
Dude, it's your job right now.
Colin's so disappointed in me. He was supposed to stop me from doing
this. I'm sorry. So
he's spiraling, Colin. Save him.
I've been spiraling so hard.
He's just begging for the brown. He's just trying to.
I tried to help him.
So let's get into it. Let's just get right into it. Without further ado.
What's your name?
I'm
name?
Colin Hodge.
And we're the White Hodge twins.
This is Justin Hodge. We've got Andy. We've got Wes. Ferd.
Does anyone call you Andy?
Nobody.
It's very bad, huh?
Yeah, that's alright.
And we've got Matt.
Well, you're Andy now.
And
black guys at work do it. It's
nice. That's what's up.
I'm not
they don't call you boss.
It never works.
Yeah.
Hey, boss. So we're brought to you by EWBSX, as he just talked about.
Price just for you.
We really want to get into all of it, but I guess we'll start with that. Is lots of talk around town about the Jews. What is it? Is it them? And can they? You basically fall into, if you're like a regular whatever, and you watch memes and stuff. It's very easy to get like World War II was faking gay pilled and all of this kind of stuff. If you're pretty low, if you're relatively low information, there's a lot of really titillating and appealing kind of schools of thought that will take you that it's just the simple version is like, oh, it's actually reversed. The good guys were the bad guys, and the bad guys were the good guys. We should have blah 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 blah, and then you end up tumbling a little bit further down the hill where with like Freemasonry and these families and all this kind of stuff. Suffice it to say, a lot of people just boil it all down to as simple as it's the Jews, and they've always been around, and it's always the same thing, the Jewish revolutionary spirit, and that's the end of the line. That's the thing. There's Satan, and then there's the Jews, and then there's all this other stuff that they're all pulling the strings. It just doesn't seem that clear cut. It doesn't seem that simple. And Matt, we've had a handful of conversations where we kind of get into why that's not the case, or he makes the case for why that's not the case, and also why it's good actually to love Israel, and we all love Israel, right?
Right, Matt?
I mean,
Right, Papa?
The church is Israel.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Right,
right.
Matt?
That's
We're
right.
on so many different. That's the thing is like moving the goalpost in 3 dimensions. It's gonna be,
Yeah, dude.
that's gonna be
4D
difficult.
chess of
Yeah, it's gonna be. Again, I don't know who our audience is, and Colin, I'm tracking everything you're saying, but I'm trying to embody like what if there's a straight up actual boomer, like King Boomer, who's like, what the hell? Clicks on this video wherever it may end up.
Is he
Orthodox
black?
boomer grandma.
Let's just keep it Orthodox Boomer Grandma,
Yeah.
Orthodox Black
She's
Hindu
tapped in.
Boomer
She's
Grandma.
tapped in though, yeah.
Yeah.
She's
So
never
where
gone
do we
back.
start then?
Where the heck do we start? How do we
Well-
format this thing? We just sat us guys
Should we
here
just
in
do a
front of the
reset?
camera.
Let's reset.
Let's
Let's
start. Let's
over.
actually
Hi.
not do this
Yeah,
question.
Hi, I'm
Alright.
Colin.
Hi, I'm Colin.
My name is
Crap.
Colin
Talk about the
Hodge.
glorious revolution.
So embarrassing.
Sending this immediately to my employer.
Hi.
Let's actually. What if we set a timer and we say you have 2 minutes to give your take
Around the table?
round the table. What if we set it to 1
About
minute?
what specifically?
About
The Jews.
The Jews. Okay. But my take is just like informed by
10 seconds.
oh.
Just kidding.
Okay, so about them. Number 1, disclaimer. As a good Christian man, I love everyone. And I can say that because it's an action, it's not like a feeling. And you basically that's me saying that I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I think stereotypes are true though, and I think that you can treat everybody with grace, whether they're good or bad, and most of the time it's better to just focus on your own sins, right? Okay. That being said, there is also a thing called reality and patterns of behavior and pattern recognition and all this kind of stuff. I think that there probably is. I really have not met very many Jews. The couple I have met were the types that grew up that and then just kind of parted ways with that and then just stopped being that. But they still would be like, yeah, that's my family. My mom, we used to go to this or whatever. And they're based now or whatever. And I've talked to a couple other people that talked about being in Jewish school. Like they would go to school and get taught that they are the victims and that their entire history, they were indoctrinated with that mentality. Your whole history is people persecuting you. You have no place to go. Everybody hates you. The Gentiles are like not your friends. It's okay to cheat them, and but you should be friendly to them and make them trust you. That type of thing. This is not from me. This is from a person that I met who claimed to be a real live Jew, and they said that's what they were brought up in, and it was just kind of how it was, par for the course. So if I'm taking their word for it, and we extrapolate that out to like almost all of the rest of them or whatever, I don't freaking know. There's probably a difference between an American New York Jew and like something else. I don't know, but if in general they have this kind of cohesive nature and they have high in-group preference, the same way that if a black person was in a room with 10 white people and one other black person, they're going to probably go gravitate toward that person and like go sup nigga, and then slap hands and dap them up and then like get whatever. Nobody's blaming them. That's okay. It's probably the same thing would happen if I was in a room with 10 black people, and me and the other white person look at each other and be like,
I hope they don't beat us up.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But seriously,
I would never do that.
in-group preference is a thing, and apparently the cohesion is there, and the in-group preference is there, and they treat each other well, and they, I guess, even if a person were not plugged in or connected or have like great connections, if somebody who did have great connections and was Jewish found out that you were Jewish, they'd be like, come here, my friend, let me take care of you.
A special price just for you.
Let me
give you my take.
I think that happens. I think that has always happened. I think that there is probably real trails, paper trails that you can follow of
Matt,
them
give me that
infiltrating
whiteboard.
areas and things and being subversive and all
Get
this
that
kind of
whiteboard.
stuff.
The whiteboard?
Yeah, the whiteboard.
And then there's also,
They're gonna see all our stuff. Sorry.
I know I'm past my 2 minutes. I'm kind of speed running the whole thing.
It's okay. We're all going to speed run it, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought that it would be okay to erase that whiteboard, but it's not, because it's got all of our plans and proprietary information to make $1 billion. But
I think the rumors are true, and I also think that it's not like there's the same thing as everything else. There's exceptions to the rule, and regardless, you just gotta pray for him, man.
let me yes and that. Let's improv this thing.
I'm eating a pie.
Yes, and I'm wearing a silly hat.
A cowboy
Alright,
hat,
you're
a
holding the
10-gallon
talking
cowboy
stick.
hat.
I spent $15,000 to go to the Upright Citizens Brigade and train in improv professionally. Would you guys like to see? Yes, and a big watermelon. This so heavy.
Can I have it? It's not actually a watermelon.
It's a raccoon.
Oh, no, it's not.
No, it is. It's a pizza.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, we're kind of pros. They call us the White Hodge twins. So here's my take. If I had the whiteboard, I'd show you this. But if you're in, like, the Twitter communities of, like, rival Christian gangs, like Ortho Bros and Trad Cats and Reformed Bros and whatever, they all want to have their, not quite a Venn diagram, but it has been expressed in that way, but mostly just this, like, web of saying, well, these guys, I saw it recently where it was like what each of the different Christian communities think of one another, whether they're cool with each other, or these people wish they were this, these people look at with this other group with sympathy, but they think that they're woefully misinformed or whatever. Other people have it as like a weird Venn diagram, and they're talking about the true church from like a branch theory, invisible church framework or whatever. I think that from an Orthodox point of view, all of that is like not the way. That is not the creed. That it's one holy Catholic and apostolic. However, it's very helpful in our discussion of Matt Walsh presents What is a Jew? Because I think that the reality that Colin's describing, in part, really is
That
that
should be the title of
convoluted.
this episode, by the way.
Right. That'll
Matt
grab
Walsh
their eyes.
presents.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Walsh presents What is a Jew? We should do that. I think it is that reality. So, the word is a symbol. 3 powerful letters.
Jimmy Eat World.
Jimmy Eat World. It really packs a punch phonetically. Back off, Jew. Watch your back, Jew. Right? It really,
Mm-hmm.
and yet under that umbrella, that symbol, there really is this convoluted web, and there really are atheistic, pretentious, highly educated, upper echelon of wealth Jewish people of the cosmopolitan variety, right? They got multiple PhDs. They do remember with reverence the Crystal Nacht. They will talk about their lack of privilege and their victim status, but they're also puffed up with a certain amount of ego, and they only care about the Mosaic law and the history of our people insofar as it empowers their victimhood or whatever, right? Then there are others who embody the Jewish revolutionary spirit in a more overt way. Like, we need to find ways to transcend the categories of male and female.
Yeah.
We need to finally unshackle ourselves from the
Unshackle?
patriarchy. Unshackle? Never, my friend. They're over here. They're not being disingenuous, but you have people self-identifying as a Jew for different reasons. And I don't think it's this nefarious thing where they're trying to shapeshift and trying to obfuscate the definition. I just think more of it's a reality, and there are different camps and sectors and facets of Jewry.
What was it we were talking about in the car? It's like similar to the stochastic terrorism that people were talking about a couple years ago. But it's like stochastic Jewry. Like it's like random, but there's like a built-in.
It's the Holocaust narrative type of thing where they're a Jew's like good in their neighborhood and they maybe have a business and they're friends with all these people, but something inside them in their culture and how they've been indoctrinated tells them, like Dennis Prager said, that even these primitive island people that have never met anyone else in the known world, if they encountered a Jew, there's a seed of hatred for Jews in their heart waiting to spring forth. That every Gentile has something in them waiting to be kindled to hate Jews. That's just a part of our nature.
So that's something that he legitimately said.
Yeah.
And that Jews legitimately believe.
Yeah.
That's the type of thing that makes all of the other stuff sound so much less crazy. Because if you just hear people spouting off like stereotypes and be like, oh yeah, Jews, they do this and they do that and they're sneaky little snakes and they, like, all of that sounds so hateful or whatever. Like, could you imagine saying that black people talk during movies and all of this
untrue.
Oh, he got a gun! Don't go out of there, white lady! Get out of there!
Yeah, they would never do that.
They thought they had you under their spell. But now you can have all the white pill power right in the palm of your hand. Introducing the Goyen, the Gamma Oscillation Yield Interface Module. Your direct connection to EWBSX, the cyber bully, the only radio station that really gets it. It's peaty, it's high tea, and it's always playing bangers. Plus, you'll never be blackpilling again with plenty of high thumos sound bites and regular doses of timeless wisdom from the cyber bully himself. Available in 2 frequencies. Alpha mode for the untamed stallion, and family mode for sensitive ears. Disintegrate the limbs, the grifters, and the subversives. Tune in to the sounds of Eternal White Boy Summer today on your very own Goyim device. EWBSX, the Cyber Bully. Radio for our guys. But the power of the Goyim in the palm of your hand today. Available for download on all Apple and Android devices.
It was kind of, because we met in high school. We've been together for like 15 years next year. No, 16 years. It was kind of like this idea within Christianity that, and I know a lot of it's been kind of perverted by kind of like this anti-cultural American Christianity that we have, like this
boomer doxy.
Yeah, essentially. It lacks so much of its teeth, and so like that was when I was in Catholicism for 3-4 years. Catholicism was whatever whoever was talking about it needed it to be. So if you wanted to be the based crusader reclaiming the Holy Land, you could do that, attend it.
You could lark wherever you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. If you wanted to be the Novus Ordo guitar mass hippie, you could do it. Like,
if you wanted to pretend you're Orthodox, you could go be Eastern Rite.
Yeah. And I feel like I don't see that as much as in Orthodoxy. That's why I'm here. But I still feel like there's so many things that I see as like a critique of Christianity from the outside that are really hard for me to cope with.
Still in Orthodoxy?
Yeah.
Like what?
All right, on the spot. Like, in the lecture I sent you, where he talks about how Christianity comes out of the Jewish,
the slave
mentality, master versus slave. So like
like Nietzsche.
Yeah, I'm like I came into religion through my politics, because I've always been hard right, and that's why I went the Hermetic occultism, because it was kind of a
Try to give a metaphysics. Or?
no, it was a
Pursuit of-
vehicle for paganism, is what occultism is essentially. Like all the terminology, everything that you do revolves around paganism, and the occultists will say that, you know, you'll hear Christians all the time say, "Oh, paganism's a dead religion." Like, yeah, for the uninitiated it is, but the heart of paganism has always been occult. Like the initiatic rites for the emperors, for the priests, have always been in occultism.
It's exclusive.
Yeah.
And it's hidden.
Right.
And it's haves and have-nots, and the have-nots are the mountain of people that I don't want to say elites or illumined or whatever, but that the initiated stand on top of.
Yeah.
And I think, and then that's why occult, not to make this into a podcast, because I'm going to yield back to you, but I think that's why all the fear talk about the technocratic elite or whatever, it's like, they think they're better than us and we all exist for them. But then in a certain way, when you listen to the Nietzsche exposition, you go, what if that's literally just the way that the strata end up? Because there's going to be a bell curve of human whatever.
Right.
And it's just natural that the people that the fittest end up standing on top of the mountain of the uninitiated. And therefore it's right and good to keep the secrets of the universe only for the smart enough and the quick enough and the strong enough. Anyway, so back to what you're saying.
It's like in the article that I wrote, the first one. I don't know if you read the second one. It's
not yet.
It's not important to the conversation. But for the first one, where I spoke about how, like, throughout all of time you have this mechanism of empire rising, and then as it becomes decadent and starts to decay, it decays from within, but it collapses from without. You have the barbarian coming and overrunning the city, and what happens is you have the barbarian stock that integrates with the old imperial elite, and it revitalizes the structure so the cycle can start again. You see this in, like, Spengler. If you have ever read Spengler's Decline of the West, he talks about civilizational cycles, and one of the things that rejuvenates the civilizational cycle is the fresh blood of the barbarian integrating with the old guard of the former empire. And so we're going through that this time, but there's no barbarians left. Everyone has been westernized. Like, modernity makes Jews of us all. And
Ooh,
so
who said that?
I can't remember.
No matter who you said, I was going to say, what's the matter? You don't know any Shakespeare? It's from The Departed. So anyway, you didn't walk into the trap because you don't know who said it.
Yeah, I don't know who said it.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of just like a meme on the right.
All right.
Modernity makes Jews of us all. But so there's no barbarians left. And so what has to happen, in my estimation, is this kind of, like, re-barbarianizing of the population in order to reinvigorate the elites as they exist in our decadent, decaying society. And I don't see a mechanism that allows that within Christianity today.
Heck, before you get any response over here, this begs for the analogy. Everything, the image popping into my head is what they say about dead wood forests, where it accumulates to the point where a forest fire is inevitable.
Yeah.
But that's necessary, because then it burns away all the dead wood, and then the ash that's left over is the fertile ground for like new growth or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about that on a civilizational level, and it's almost it's too perfect of an analogy not for me not to say. But I wondered if anyone had taken that obvious low hanging fruit and put it into their exposition in their writing or whatever.
You're saying that for the civilization to continue and be revitalized, we need barbarians to come in and intermingle with the old guard?
Essentially to destroy the old guard. Like, so the way that it worked is the barbarians would flood the city. Most of them were already there. Like, the Romans had hired hordes of Germanic barbarians by the end of the empire. And so usually what happens is the Roman citizen would go to war. The women are left at home. They would interbreed with the Germanic stock who was there. And old classical Romans and Germanics were a sister race. They were both descended from the Scythians from the steppe, who conquered through the Proto-Europeans And what ended up, so I found this out because I was like, there's no way Italians were Roman. Like, I don't believe it. And so I went on a deep dive, and so essentially what happened was Romans intermixed with their slaves so much that they created the modern Italians. But that's why, like, when you see depictions of old Romans, they have the blonde-haired blue eyes that the Germans would have, but like modern Italians aren't blonde-haired blue-eyed unless they're like from like a few different provinces in Italy. So you get that, like, the Achaean flee from Greece, conquers Rome, like the province of Rome. It intermixes with the Italian stock that's there, intermixes with the barbarians and the Germans, who both of these races were Scythian steppe peoples to begin with. And then that, like what you were saying with the Jews, like it just like this congregation of people over a long enough time observing the same practices creates a new racial subset. Like we see that in America. Like Americans today, like heritage Americans who are here today have become something distinct from Europeans. Like, I'm Scottish.
You can look at a British person and tell that they're British.
Right, and you can look at, yeah. Well, at least our skulls.
Flying shooting ranges.
I had to finish it.
Yeah, it was like but yeah, so is there a mechanism within Christianity
Way too long on that one.
that allows for a like re-barbarianizing of like specifically disaffected young white men in order to complete the civilizational process? Because if that doesn't happen, I believe it's like,
how do you
phone it in?
How do you define
Barbarian. Yeah.
Gross.
Is it just simply like, I don't know, like earthy militant outsider, or is it more nuanced than that?
Well, it has to be more nuanced
Right.
in today's day and age, because we don't have that. We don't have that Viking coming in from the North Sea to,
And it's not the same as like third world importations.
Correct. No, there's no way. Like when you
I'm
say
glad
barbarian,
you said so, because I was synonymizing those, if that's the right word. So I was sodomizing those two terms
I've
together.
got a thought here that I got to get this out before I forget it. So, as we've progressed through the modern age, we've had this, concept of the public square that has been kind of abstracted away from the actual, like, personal day-to-day experience of someone, particularly in the digital age.
right?
So the American global empire, or the global American empire, so to speak, which I don't think is American, it's kind of an abstraction that you could almost think of the imperial capital as being in digital space, sort of, and it's been a very curated, cultivated, artificial space that we're starting to see. I think different groups, for example, like Nick Fuentes, like all of a sudden breaking into the mainstream. You could almost, I guess to use this as an analogy, could you say someone like Nick Fuentes suddenly being mainstreamed could be an equivalence to the barbarians entering the imperial capital?
Yes and no.
Like you have the post-war order, which has been defined by specific ideas are wholly off limits. Right. As in, they've been like pushed out to the fringes.
They're in the canon.
They're not. There's certain ideas that are just not permitted. No, people aren't aware of them. There's historical facts. They might as well be existing out in the steppes.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, it's like we're going through this transformative period where it's sort of like, digitally speaking, the barbarians are storming back in again.
Yeah, I think Nick is a canary in the coal mine for the barbarians, but I don't think he himself or the Groypers as they exist today are, because they still use the language of the empire. They're still they're kind of like the disaffected sons of the empire who went to war and then came home and they're not getting paid, and their farms have been sold to the merchant class, and so they're kind of like, well, we need to find a Caesar as soon as possible. But you still haven't gotten quite to that, like, full-blown Sea People's Bronze Age collapse, like, antithesis of, because, like, Nick kind of, to me, he represents paleoconservatism and, like, Pat Buchanan conservatism. So it's an approximation of what's coming next. So, like, in my ideal world, Nick, to me, represents what a moderate conservative should be, because he still is arguing for a big tent conservatism. Like, you know, we'll ally with black people, we'll ally with Mexican people, we'll ally with people who aren't heritage Americans to see our job fulfilled. But at the end of the day, like, whatever comes next is going to be more extreme than Nick.
Oh yeah.
And that's the barbarian.
But this is
He's a
all
forerunner.
You could also say, in a sense, that again, I wouldn't, I don't want to over-index on Nick too much, but just kind of a useful vehicle for the concept.
Right.
You know, it's been fashionable to say for a while that Trump isn't the flood; he's the dam holding the flood back, and whoever comes after Trump is going to be. People are going to look back fondly. The shitlibs are going to look back fondly on the days of Trump because of whatever comes after him. So Nick is kind of like what comes after Trump.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like the ball is moving forward here. You get Trump, and everyone's like, "Oh, the great Satan has arrived," and then he's going to be followed by Nick, and then Nick is going to precede something further than that. So there's like this trajectory. There's this inevitable trajectory that we're being pulled down.
But this is all contingent on the boomer die-off that we were talking about when the camera wasn't rolling, right? Because as I see it right now, being the smooth brain out of this trio, I don't know about these two. They could be silent sages. They could be on the horseshoe theory or the bell curve or whatever. They could be far to the right on IQ and wearing the hoods, you know what I mean, in the meme. For me, I'm admitting to be on the farther to the left side of the bell curve, so you got to dumb it down for me. It appears to me that heritage stock Americans that you're talking about that happen to be anywhere approximating as right-wing as us guys or whatever, and have the political will and propensity to affect their political will, is a minority, right? So if we're like, just wait until the next thing comes, it's going to be more extreme, it's not going to be allying with all these whatever, who's to say that they're going to have the political power to change what happens between the Pacific and Atlantic, coast to coast, and 350 million people or whatever? Like, I don't. It seems kind of like wishful thinking to be like, well, whenever the next guy who replaces Nick, well, he's still just a guy talking to a camera.
So I have an answer for you. Typically, revolutions aren't driven from
the masses.
From mass populations. Only 13% of people fought in the American Revolution.
Just a bunch of roughnecks. 13% of people fought in the Revolution, but they committed 50% of the crimes, is what I read.
It might have been closer to 15%.
You know what's funny is there's a particular number in that exists in the tech world that it's
69.
We're like
420. 67.
1620 project.
14% of the population commits 88% of acts of 69. All right, I'm going to see myself.
Yeah, hand him the whiskey.
Get his ass out of here.
There's this number, I can't remember the name of the number, but it's the number's around 13%, which is when a new idea or a new concept or a new phenomenon is entering into a population.
The tipping
point.
point.
The tipping point is about 13%.
Yeah,
once 13% of are aware of it, that's the critical mass point where it'll exponentially go. So it's interesting that 13% of the country fought in the American Revolution. Yeah. I'd also ask you, do you think revolution is a left wing or a right wing or neutral?
I'm gonna have to defer to Mussolini on this. I have a quote. It will take me 30 seconds to find.
While he's looking for the quote, everybody who's just joining us, this is brought to you by EWBSX. The cyberbully, this is just a crew of a few roughnecks talking about the kind of right-wing philosophies and whatever. It seems like that's what we're doing. You see all these microphones around us. We couldn't get the soundboard set up in time, so we just have a shotgun mic. So apologies for the sound quality and the echo.
You don't gotta apologize for nothing. Dude.
No, we're going to
Double down.
apologize.
Yeah,
We're going to
down.
apologize because they
It's
see
good
the
what we do.
microphones. They see us not using them. We know better. We can't do better. Do as I say, not as I do.
We're too retarded to work microphones, so
That's right.
we just have them here for decoration. Mussolini quote.
Yes. We permit ourselves the luxury of being aristocratic and democratic, conservative and progressive, reactionary and revolutionary, legalists and illegalists according to the circumstances of the moment, the place, and the environment.
Ah, the synthesized third way.
Yes, that the third position, of
Uh-huh.
course.
But that guy was like, that
Third
though.
position nutrition.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask,
That's what got me on
If you
this
ask
whole
Circle,
thing,
if
man.
you ask
I remember
Jews.
that call still to this day.
Nice, yeah.
Have you read Codrenio,
no.
former legionary? He,
Oh,
I have
Have you
read
read
The
that? You
Voyage
read
of the
that?
Dawn
it's been a long time. Yeah.
I've read Chronicles of Narnia and the Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
It's a great book. Horrible movie.
Dude.
Never saw
Yeah,
it.
it's
Alright,
true.
so he reads.
I listen, but yes.
Game Boy. Mostly it's Game Boy Advance for me.
Yeah. SP?
Can't afford it.
It is a collector's item now.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.